Kia ora e te whānau, and welcome to the first light lunch from your Institute of Building for 2023. I hope I got that one right. Phew. So I'm joined here today by Emily Newmarch and Jason Howden, and I'll just tell you very briefly about them. So Emily is a PhD candidate at Victoria University of Wellington, Te Herenga Waka. She is also a low carbon design specialist at Warren & Marnie. Jason here is a principal and digital innovation leader at Warren & Marnie. So we're going to do our same format that we got down in 2022, which is we're going to start with the serious stuff, the top 3 things keeping them awake at night, and then we're going to move into 3 lighter pieces just to keep you kind of entertained and remind you that Jason and Emily are human beings too, just like you. So we'll start off with the heavy stuff. So Emily, can you share with us one thing that's keeping you awake at night?
I'm really interested in how to get people excited about climate change and engaging in the conversation around it. I think it's a very heavy topic and people can get overwhelmed and feel a bit guilty about the work that they're doing. And so how to get people passionate and looking forward to being innovative and creative in the space.
Awesome. And is that related to your PhD? Is your PhD somehow related to how information is disseminated?
Yes, yep. I look into, I guess, how we think through a design process and how do we bring that information in a way that can feed into decisions rather than just all of them.
Awesome. So it's integral to the process rather than an add-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Jason, what are you waking up in hot sweats about?
Very topical. Like Emily, it's about climate change, but with a slightly different lens. How can technology enhance and support our response to climate change in the built environment? It's a very large industry and it has a very large carbon footprint. So how can we leverage technology to incentivize and encourage and make better decisions going forward?
Yeah, and I mean, just like climate change is overwhelming, if the word technology overwhelms me, is there one specific type of technology, anything you could recommend that people should be looking at or that you use that you find invaluable in that journey?
In the specifically around, I guess, measuring carbon, we're investing a lot of time and effort in one-click LCA. It's one of the leading tools in that space. We've tested a bunch of tools in that space, and there are a lot out there that support BIM workflows, which allows you to leverage data that you collect through the design construction process to, I guess, categorize and then make informed decisions around your carbon footprints.
Awesome. And because you're in a built environment webinar and we love our 3-letter acronyms, of course, LCA is life cycle assessment. We'll put in a little link to that one-click LCA in the show notes on YouTube. And of course, BIM is one of our favorite catchphrases for building information modeling. Hey, Emily, what's the second thing keeping you awake at night?
Second thing is what's happening with all the other environmental indicators. So we look a lot at embodied carbon or carbon from the operation of buildings. And there are 5 or 6 others environmental indicators that can affect our waters and our air quality around our cities, especially depending on where we are building or sourcing our materials from. So I wonder about those and how we can integrate them into our projects.
Yeah, how we use indicators.
Yeah,
sure, to steer us right through the project. Okay, cool. Is your PhD doing work on these types of environmental indicators?
No, with any kind of research project, you set a scope boundary around what you can and can't look at in a specific period of time. So, no, I'm not looking at them. But when we use softwares like the one Jason mentioned, they pop up and they appear. And
Nice.
I always wonder about them.
That reminds me of my time at university when they'd say that the bachelor's was the whole house, the master's was the door, and the PhD was the doorknob in terms of zeroing down on your scope. Totally get that. Jason, what about you? Second thing keeping you awake?
Second thing keeping me awake, literally keeping me awake, is AI. I'm doing a lot of experimentation and research into AI and how it's the explosion of recent AI developments can be utilised in the profession going forward. A lot of fun and definitely keep me awake at night.
And clearly an acronym that's come from somewhere outside the built environment.
Absolutely, artificial intelligence, AI,
nice.
and a heavy emphasis on artificial and maybe a loose emphasis on
Intelligence.
intelligence.
Nice, I like that. That must be that 80-20 rule. I don't think any of us have got through this last summer in our beach reading without seeing Chat GPT and everything else
so
that's
much fun.
going on. Yeah, lots of fun. Just now need to know how to use it. Yeah, next step. Okay, what's the third thing keeping you awake, Emily?
Scales. So when we look at carbon, we think about buildings. And I'm really interested in playing around with the idea of thinking about carbon in cities and how the embodied carbon can come into the way that we design different ways of planning. And also the other half of the equation of sequestration, or the carbon benefits we get from laying out cities in certain ways, where we can think about parks and green spaces as part of that equation to buildings.
Nice. That's that tension, isn't it, between new build and renovation? I mean, most of the city's already here, so yes, how can we plug bits in that improve the overall context? Jason, what's your third?
Third thing's actually quite a practical, pragmatic thing. It's the projects that I've been working on in the design stages for the last 3 years now on site, and are they all going to go together as designed, as planned, and as prototyped in the digital environment? So we're starting to see the rubber hit the road now, and it's pretty amazing.
The proof is in the pudding.
Oh yes.
Well, all we can say is good luck. So that's what's keeping us awake at night. Great balance between technology and sustainability. And on that, I should probably let people know that we have got an industry insights coming up with Daryl Patterson of former Then Less Digital fame, who is now an innovation digital consultant. It's coming up next Thursday. I think we already have about 50 regos. There's probably about 10 places left. So jump online and register for that interactive webinar. You've got to bring your questions, so get ready. Speaking of questions, all right, Jason, we're on the quick fire, get to know you kind of stuff now. Can you tell us something about what you're reading and listening and watching, and what's that cool app that I saw on your tablet?
Yeah, so I'm definitely reading a bunch of things, but I'm reading them all digitally through Apple Books. Love it on my iPad. And I've just gotten through Bill Gates' How to Prevent a Climate Disaster. It's a fascinating read, a lot of science. I recommend everyone should read that. It's eye-opening. And I followed that up with James Dyson's autobiography. Interesting to hear that he prototyped 1,000 vacuum cleaners before he settled on one that worked. So you've got to keep in there if you've got a dream and a vision. And now I'm reading The Art of Persuasion, and how to persuade people more deliberately, maybe.
Very important. Every
yes.
conversation is a sales, persuasion, influence conversation, especially when you're on the bleeding edge of your areas, which you both are. How interesting. Emily, what are you reading or listening to?
Well, my latest YouTube rabbit hole is inspired by one of the recent grads who started an office, Maria, and she introduced me to mycelium. And so I've been looking at how do people grow mycelium, and how do they, I guess, collaborate a little bit with a bio-based product. And it's all this sort of, mycelium is a mushroom root, if anyone who has heard about it before, and it grows really quickly, and like I think you can do a process in under 10 days, and it works in mold, so you can really shape whatever you want to grow through, and then kind of take it out of that mold and create the skin. It's really fascinating to see it.
Awesome. I think we might need to get that graduate Maria Walker onto Light Lunch for sure, perhaps with other mycelium advocates. For those that are concerned, like myself, we will be spelling that word in the show notes so that you can Google it appropriately. But yes, I'm sure you can just Google mushroom buildings and see what comes out. Awesome. So, Jason, what's something that you do for yourself in that well-being space?
Fishing. I've just come back from Christmas break, had a week in Wanaka, and graced the river shores with my fishing rods. Didn't catch anything this time, but fishing is the thing I do for myself. And a bit like golf, it can either be a wonderful experience or ruin a good walk.
Nice. I've heard you only need one good shot, and then that makes your whole golf game. So in fishing, what would be what's the one good thing that happens in fishing?
If you're lucky enough, you can catch a fish on the first cast, and then you're done.
I guess catching anything is probably good. Emily, what about you? What does well-being mean for you, and what do you do?
I enjoy taking time out to take photos. I really like the art of photography. I look at like a lot of different media, film, digital, underwater, aerial. And the thing that I really enjoy about it is that it combines something that's really technical, it's really creative, kind of like the reason I got into architecture. And I find when you sort of focus or see things through different lenses, it makes you really present, look for things in the environment, which also really enjoy.
And do you have some special tech for the underwater aspect?
Yes, I have like a freediving group, and some of them have these really impressive kits. You kind of feel like almost a crayfish when you're in there. They have these cameras that then have arms that have strobe lights that come out onto them, so you're sort of swimming along with this big antenna thing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool. Fantastic. I'm noticing a water theme in our wellbeing space.
Yep.
Hey, the last question we wrap up with is around a personal motto, and I know you've borrowed Dyson's one already, which is very similar to that Thomas and Ensign one, isn't it? About 10,000. I've failed 10,000 times or something. Yeah. So, what's a personal motto that drives you?
You only live once.
Oh, hence the fishing,
Hence
dangerous
fishing.
locations.
And a bit of downhill mountain biking and flying gliders and bits and pieces like that. So you do need to push yourself. You only live once. Give it a go.
Nice. I'm getting this fishing on one side and then the downhill mountain biking. Wow. Okay. Cool. I'm seeing some kind of crazy fishing coming up in the future. Nice. You only live once. That's very true. Can't argue with that. And what about you, Emily? What's your motto?
Be the change you want to see in the world. So if you believe it, you should be doing it and practicing it so that other people can follow or be inspired by your actions rather than just saying that people should do it and then not actually following through.
Nice. Be the change. And importantly, walk the walk, walk the talk. Yeah, right. Yeah, nice. Cool. Well, I'm pretty inspired about being the change and potentially gliding and downhill mountain biking and staying in one piece. So the last couple of things I wanted to mention, we mentioned industry insights. There's another thing I want to let people know about, which is a reminder that our DigiCom, Building Our Digital Community, which is a conference between the Institute of Building and the BIM and the NZ Steering Committee, is coming up on the 23rd of March, 2023, here in Wellington. And one of the presenters is yourself, I believe, Emily. So I should let you know that early bird closes this Friday. And Emily, really interested to understand what people will learn from you in that presentation. Can you tell us, give us a little sneak preview?
Yeah, a little sneak preview. So I'm going to talk about data-informed design decisions. So when we look at using life cycle assessment in projects, we can fall into the trap of using it as just an auditing tool. So I'm going to give people a few tips and tricks as to how they can use that to inform their decisions and include it in project teams.
So instead of checking how you've done afterwards in an audit way, really instill it, embed it in the beginning of the process. So it's all about when you use the data. Timing is everything. Nice. That's another good motto. Awesome. Hey, we have still got a couple of minutes, which is awesome. So I'm going to just check in with Jason. Are you going to be coming to DigiCon, Jason?
I think I'll be an attendee. I'm not speaking.
Yes. So why would you turn up to DigiCon? What's the appeal for you?
The appeal is hearing from industry leaders and thought thinkers, doers, makers, creators in one place. New Zealand, we're 2 degrees separated from everyone, but here we can collect all of that horsepower, all of that brain power, put it in a room, have a conversation, and it's just one day.
Nice. And that's that paradox, isn't it? Between there's only so much you can do digitally. Every now and then you just need to turn up
in person. In person, meet the people behind what they're doing.
Because you only live once.
You only live once.
That's what I've heard. All right. Hey, we'll wrap it up there, folks. You'll find this Light Lunch recording on YouTube, and we'll be coming to you in 2 weeks' time to hear a little bit more about DigiCom and how digital can help us build the community that we produce and deliver our projects in. So we'll be hearing from 2 members of the BIM and NZ Steering Group, and they are Glenn Jowett and Mel Tristram. So join us again in 2 weeks' time. Have a great fortnight. Ka kite anō.